Good morning. Let's get started.唯願法会会所仏所現上愛民水合林将軍指導上唯願が東配新人具象上三号福地修上十如来寺唯願宿毒へ行失周変死海牛実法利悪不当縁हम ईमानदारी से महामंदारा गोहनजों के सभी आदरणीय लोगों के लिए सद्म पुंडरिक सूत्र शाश्वत भूता शाक्या मुनि प्रभुत रत्न भूता और सभी अतीत वर्तमान और भविष्य के भूतों के लिए 10 दिशाओं में समर्पित करते हैं। हम आगे खुद को पृथ्वी के 4 महान बोधिसत्व के लिए समर्पित करते हैं, जैसे विशिष्ट कारित्र बोधिसत्व, विशुद्ध कारित्र बोधिसत्व, अनंत कारित्र बोधिसत्व, सुप्रतिष्ठ कारित्र बोधिसत्व, बोधिसत्व के सभी बोधिसत्व मंजूश्री बोधिसत्व, समंतभद्र बोधिसत्व, मैत्रेय अवलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्व, शाक्य मुनि के महान शिष्य बुद्ध शारिपुत्र मोगारन काश्यप आनंद महाश्रवक और धर्म के सभी संरक्षणात्मक देवताओं के लिए हम आगे अपने मूल द्वारा भेजे गए महान बोधिसत्व निचिरेन शोनिन के लिए खुद को समर्पित करते हैं। हम आगे अपने आप को उनके शिष्य रेंगे आचार्य निचिजी शोनिन पहले विदेशी मिशनरी के लिए समर्पित करते हैं। सभी जीवों को वह पुण्य प्राप्त हो जो हमने सूत्र के पास से संचित किया है। हम आप सभी को यह हार्दिक भक्ति प्रदान करते हैं। आप हमारे प्रति अपनी करुणा से इस पवित्र स्थान पर आए, हमें अपनी बुद्धि के प्रकाश से देखें और इस सूत्र का पाठ करने और नाम म्यो हो रेंगे क्यों का जाप करने की हमारी पेशकश को स्वीकार करें। Nam myo ho renge kyo, nam myo ho renge kyo, nam myo ho renge kyo, nam myo ho renge kyo. Establishing the place of prayer. Here and now we have just chanting Nam myo ho renge kyo. At this moment, this place has become the place of prayer to Odaimoku and the place of prayer for our heart during lifetime. At this very place of prayer to Odaimoku, all Buddhas have attained enlightenment. This is also the place where the Buddha have expounded their teaching. This world in which we live, believing in and chanting Odaimoku, is the place where the Buddha lived in peace. Adoration of Gohonzon. In the mandala Gohonzon, the object of our worship is shown the origin of how the mandala was written. One day in the 12th month of 1274, 11th year of Bunne, I, Nichiren, wrote the Gohonzon in the village of Haki, province of Kai, the present-day Minabu-san, Yamanashi Prefecture, Nichiren. It was a time when over 2,220 years had passed since Shakyamuni Buddha passed away. Nevertheless, in the three countries of India, China and Japan, namely in the world, there had never existed a Gohonzon like this. This is probably because none of our past masters attempt to spread the Gohonzon among the society, even though they are aware of its existence, or it may be that nobody knew about it. Shakyamuni Buddha, after careful consideration, determined that he should conceal the Gohonzon until the arrival of an opportune moment to reveal it, revealing it to the people in the period of Mappo. In fact, the Buddha preaches in the Lotus Sutra that his messenger, Jogyo Bosatz, should spread the Buddha's teaching in the first 500 years of Mappo, as predicted by the Buddha Nichiren Daishonin, appear in this world to reveal the Gohonzon and expounded the teaching of the Odaimoku, signature given by Nichiren Shonin himself, Nammyo Horenge Kyo. Word of oath before reciting the Lotus Sutra. To carry out the way of the Buddha as the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha has been expounded his teaching without rest from the beginning to this day, not only in our world, but also in immemorial world. Among his teaching, the Lotus Sutra is the most important. If you devote yourself completely to the faith in the Lotus Sutra, you will surely become a person who truly practices the way of the Buddha. All of you, even after my death, should continue having faith in the Lotus Sutra and reciting it. Make this oath before me now. Nammyo Horenge Kyo. Expedient. After carefully considering how he can expound clearly the substance of his enlightenment, Shakyamuni Buddha calmly opened his eyes and began talking to Shariputra, who was known to be the Buddha's wise disciple. The wisdom of the Buddha, not to mention my own wisdom, is so deep and wide that it is far beyond your imagination. Since you want to understand Buddha's enlightenment, if it is expounded as it is, I first tried to reveal my mind by using Hoben, or expedient wisdom, wherein you were hurt. However, since you could not even understand the purpose behind Hoben, you are far from being able to enter the world of the truth. Shravaka, who understands impermanency just by listening to the Buddha's teaching, and Pratyeka Buddha, who seeks enlightenment just by sensing impermanency through experiences, are the people who are preaching individually to reach the state of enlightenment. Hence, they cannot understand the interrelation between expedient and the truth. This is because the Buddha, unlike you, has trained himself under countless Buddhas, carried out countless practice taught by them, and accomplished the goals of severe practice in order to attain enlightenment. His reputation is widespread. The Buddha's enlightenment is unpleasantly deep and has been plated and expounded skillfully. However, it seems to be too difficult for you to understand the true meaning. Shariputra, even since I became the Buddha, I have been expounding my teaching broadly, using examples and parables. I use every kind of Hoben, or expedient wisdom, in order to rid people and save them from attachment. The reason that was possible is because the Buddha is perfectly equipped with an understanding of both Hoben and the truth. Shariputra, the Buddha's wisdom is wide and deep. That is to say, the Buddha holds four immutable minds, known as Zihi Kisha, love, compassion, happiness, and transcendence. And when he expounds his teaching, he is versatile and flexible, equipped with 10 kinds of supreme wisdom, and teaches as he believed without reserve. At that time, his mind is unshakable, wiping off hesitation completely, distances from any suffering and focusing on goodness so that he can ascertain the truth. In other words, the Buddha has all the wisdom to teach and lead all peoples. Shariputra, the Buddha adapted his teaching in accordance with time and place, conjuring a teaching method fit for each person he teaches. His way of teaching is very flexible, bringing those whom he teaches to certainty and joy. Shariputra, all told, the Buddha has attained the Dharma, immeasurable excellence, which none has achieved up to now. I will stop expounding my teaching to you. Listen carefully, Shariputra. I probably should not expound my teaching to you since you cannot understand the true purpose of the Buddha's teaching. The reason being, my word of enlightenment is unpleasant and is the most superior. It is a word you will never be able to reach. Only the Buddha attains the reality of all things in their purest extent. This true state of all things must be viewed from the following 10 kind of perspective. So is the outside appearance. Sho is the nature hidden inside. Tai is a combination of the two. These three factors are the fundamental of existence. Riki is the inner power. Sa is the outside effect. In is a direct cause. En is the indirect cause. Ka is the result. Ho is a new interrelationship with the surroundings suitable to its effect. The factors of home, which encompass So, Sho, and Tai, and Matsu, which encompasses the rest, are the factors existence in all things and always complement one another. This is To, or equalities. 妙法蓮華経如来十両本第16 The duration of the life of the Tathagata. I, Shakyamuni, am originally a Hotoke Buddha. I am always expounding the teachings of the Buddha to lead you into the way of the Buddha. Many hundreds of thousands of years have passed since I began expounding my teaching. In order to help save you, I have even hidden myself tentatively from this world, but I am always present in this Sahara world. I always live here expounding that Dharma. To tell the truth, I am always here, but for those who don't realize that, I am intentionally hidden myself from your sight. When you notice my absence, you appreciate the Buddha for the first time, hold service for his remains, and then soon every one of you begin to take the Buddha seriously from the heart. Once you have trusted the Buddha in all seriousness, you will honestly begin to want to meet him and seek the way of the Buddha at the cost of your lives. When you enter that state of mind, you realize the Buddha is present in this world along with his disciples. You will then begin to understand the reason why the Buddha is saying, I am always here, only I choose to hide and appear on purpose in order to save you all. In fact, if there is anyone who seeks me not just on earth, but anywhere in space, there I am able to expound my teachings. You might think there is no Buddha simply because you do not care to lend an ear to the Buddha's teaching. When I look at your ways of life, I can tell very well how hard you are struggling with various suffering, unable to find a way to escape from them. I hide myself from you both to help you. Realize you can never escape from the suffering of this world by yourself, and become convinced that you should seek the Buddha and his teachings. When these feelings arise, you will understand that the Buddha is actually expounding his teaching at all times. This is known as the Buddha's supernatural powers. In other words, the Buddha is anywhere at any time. Even when you suspect that the world has come to its end and that it will burn to destruction in a great fire, my mental state always remains peaceful, and my surroundings are full of people with the same mental state. It is like, for example, a beautiful flower garden and bushes. There stand a building like a castle. Along it grew trees full of beautiful flowers and fruits, and people are living happily. It is as if heavenly beings are playing music and petal of the mandala flowers, a great tree falling around us. My word of enlightenment, my word of wisdom will never be destroyed. But all of you who are at your loss believe this world is moving towards destruction, and that's why you exist in this world. All kind of frightful and painful events, all lies. The reason why you are suffering as you right now is because you have totally failed to reflect upon your half-hearted ways of life filled with worldly desires, without paying any attention to the light religion and the light faith, and not being mindful of making any efforts. Those who continue to conduct good deeds for the world, for its people with a light faith at first, are released from the binding of self-attachment and neither fool themselves nor others. People of this kind will understand that I am expounding my teachings here all the time. To those who seek the way of the Buddha in such state of mind, I teach them that the Buddha's life is eternal. To those who do not seek the faith, I teach them to have faith in him. Thus, my wisdom works at my own will. Since I have limitless wisdom and have gained an eternal life, I am capable of saving all people, and these incapable powers can be obtained thanks to my own endeavors, practiced day by day without rest. Those who make effort to try to comprehend the significance of life, you must not question the true eternal existence of the Buddha. You must fundamentally take yourself from your current hypocritical ways of life. That way, you will understand that the teachings of the Buddha are fruitful. When the renounced physician saved his children, who themselves were suffering from deadly poison, but would not accept any medicine given by their father by telling them, "Your father is dead," when in fact he was alive. Nobody blamed him. Likewise, I am actually the father of this world, capable of saving all people from various pains and suffering. However, you cannot tell what is right and what is wrong. In order to open your eyes, I say that the Buddha is not here while in actually I am here, but if you become aware that I am really here, you will gradually lose the sense of appreciation and being to develop arrogance. Then eventually you will return to the life full of worldly desires and ultimately fall into the three evil realms of hell, hungry spirits, and animals. I can see clearly whether or not you people are following the right way. This is why I expound the teachings in many ways in order to lead you appropriately. I have only one wish. My wish is to know how I can quickly lead you to the right way of faith and make you become a Buddha as soon as possible. The practice of Odaimaku chanting, all the marvelous Shakyamuni Buddha has attained, in other words, his true heart are included in the 5 rituals of Myoho Renge Kyo. If we believe in and practice the teaching of the 5 rituals as the course of our lives, we are able gradually but surely to gain the Buddha's true heart. Supernatural powers of the Tathagata. We think that spirits of the message of this Lotus Sutra will be handed down from generation to generation forever. As the Buddha states the main points of teaching carrying in the Odaimaku. The Odaimaku included all the merits of the Buddha's enlightenment. The Odaimaku contained all the supernatural powers of the Buddha to save all people. The Odaimaku is a crystallization of the Buddha's boundless wisdom necessary to teach and lead all beings. The Odaimaku expresses all merits the Buddha has practiced. These 4 things showing the Buddha's real image and spirits are explicitly revealed in the Lotus Sutra. The Buddha's true mind is the Odaimaku. Especially after the Buddha's extinction, you must keep in mind that you should believe from the bottom of your heart. In the Lotus Sutra, and the Odaimoku in which the entire mind of the Buddha is clearly explained, and that you should recite and study the Lotus Sutra and chant the Odaimoku in order to practice the Buddha's teaching as instructed by the Buddha, wherever the place might be, as a place where the teaching of the Lotus Sutra have spread and the faith in the Odaimoku is practiced in correct and proper ways. You must set up a place of prayer and spend their life with faith and the sutra, be it in the village or countryside with farms, wood or groves, or in a monastery or in the house of ordinary people, or residence of higher status people, or in a mountain village or a vast plain. The reason for this is that nowhere else but the place where the Odaimoku is believed in and its teachings are expounding is a true place of prayer. It is this place of prayer to the Odaimoku where all Buddhas have become enlightenment. Here, the Buddha expound their teaching. In other words, this Saha world in which we believe, believing in the Odaimoku, is the very place where the Buddha's true word lies. Offering of merit. I now show my appreciation to the three treasures of the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, for my being able just now to chant the Odaimoku and recite the Lotus Sutra, and offer the merits of the chanting of the Odaimoku and the reciting of the Lotus Sutra to all those who have granted me favors with gratitude, and to those who have passed away. I have the honors of chanting the Odaimoku and reciting the Lotus Sutra in front of the Mandala Gohonzon, which shows its perfect harmony and is unprecedented in history. I call on Kuon Jitsujo no Saha Shakyamuni Butsu, the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, or the original Buddha, will continue his eternal relief mission. I call on Nammyo Horengekyo, the fundamental laws of cause and effect, which works beneath all existence, including human beings. I call on the Hoge Jogyo, superior practice Bodhisattva, Nichiren Daibosatsu, the Buddha's messengers, assigned especially to the period of Mappo, the latter age of the Dharma, who revealed the existence of the original Buddha and the true law of Nammyo Horengekyo. I pray that from the bottom of my heart and offer my profound appreciation to these fundamental three treasures, all expounded in the Lotus Sutra, Nammyo Horengekyo. Especially, I pray that the merits of our faith will raise the spirits of our ancestors. At the same time, I pray that all spirits, related and unrelated, will attain Buddhahood. The concluding verse of the Juryo-hon, chapter 16, the duration of the life of the Tathagata, and the Jinriki-hon, chapter 21, the supernatural powers of the Tathagata, of the Lotus Sutra, which we have just recited, read as follows. I have only one wish, that is to know how I can quickly raise you to the light weight of the faith, so that you can attain the Buddhahood. For that purpose, chant Odaimoku and lead your life following the teaching of the Odaimoku, even if you cannot see me. Even so, you will certainly walk along the way of the Buddha and attain enlightenment in this world, Nammyo Horengekyo. To live as with no choice but to restore faith day by day, Nichiren Shu expounds his teaching as follows. Reflecting deeply on my past, I Nichiren studied Buddhism from childhood and began to ponder and wish as follows. People's lifespans are never, for a single moment, static and continue to change. If you look closely at the state of one's dying moment, you will find that the bliss once exhaled is never inhaled again. That's exactly like when dew on top of leaf falls off the ground. Our life ends regardless of wisdom or foolishness, old age or youth. Therefore, since we have such a transitory life, we must learn about it deeply, keeping it mind day after day, that the end of life is just before us, and that our life is limited. Thinking about it in this way, You must come to realize that the most important thing upon this is a noble heart as a fundamental part of human beings. There is no other ways to realize the existence of that noble heart and cultivate it and to follow the proper faith. Since the proper faith is precisely the faith in the life, you should devote yourself to it without delay. Since the proper mental activities arises with the proper faith, true peace is achieved only when people who are engaged in such a mental activity collectively form a nation. At that time, those who live there will live at peace both in mind and body. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. For deep reflection on everyday life, repentance. The causes of all troubles and suffering in life all come from your misunderstanding. If you wish to notice your errors, you should collect your mind and see the truth in all matters. You must have proper belief to do so. If you deeply reflect upon your errors, even if they are errors which come from misunderstanding, and if you see the true appearance in things, it will be like when fog and dew disappear in the sunlight. You will eventually realize your errors and certainly be forgiven. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. 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 司教難事脈残事者が即官儀諸仏役年両是死に諸仏昇誕是即有名是即精進是名字開行図打者即位失徳無常仏道能来世独自死教是神仏師中順全知仏滅道後能下合義で昇天に世間資源奥異性の周遊説一切天に大億よ将来集めるところの功徳なむ輪廻具足未曾有大曼荼羅感情の祖孫南無平等大英地上妙法蓮華経ことには末法苦語の大同志構想南無日蓮大菩薩宗門大大女法君公の戦士先鉄等に栄光しもって崩落にその青木の落馬一点視界回帰妙法末法万年光線ルフ世界平和法華経光線ルフ南無大願成就弁ならしめたまえまたミャンマー大地震によるところの死者の霊即心成仏早期復興、全世界自然災害フルの災害によるところの死者の霊即心成仏 世界が平和でありますように。願に宿毒不義を一切が東洋市場海具成仏道大師法界平等利益南無妙法蓮華経主上無変性願道煩悩無修正願断訪問無人性願地仏道無常性願上南無sentient beings immeasurable I bow to save them all our ever desires are exhaustible I bow to consume all The Buddha's teaching are immeasurable. I bow to study them all. The way of the Buddha is excelled. I bow to attend the path sublime. Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. Yui Gan Shou.
Thank you very much. Let's continue chanting for inner peace of all living beings. सभी जीवित प्राणियों की आंतरिक शांति के लिए नाम्यो फोरेंगे क्यों का जाप जारी रखें. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Have a nice day. See you evening time. शाम को मिलेंगे और कल मिलेंगे.